All right, guys, good morning. It's Tuesday. I'm sorry I'm not here today. My son is still sick, and now my mother-in-law is sick, so she is not here. So let's get started. You need to take out your materials. So there should be a handout on the back table. If it's not there, Alyssa can get it for you guys, but there's a handout about current events. You need a pencil or a pen, and you're going to need your iPad. So today we're going to introduce current events. We're going to be doing current events for quarter 3. So you're going to want to be familiar with those. We're going to review those rhetorical précis. You wrote précis last semester. We're going to review them, and then we are going to do a practice précis. So our goal is I will be learning about current events, and I'll know I have it when I can write a rhetorical précis on my article and present it to the class. So reminders, your first current event is going to be due on Friday, which means our first current event presentations are also on Friday. Another quick reminder, there's no school on Monday, but you do have your book clubs by Tuesday, so you need to have your books by then. That's Tuesday the 16th. Remember, we are looking for physical books. If you are going to do a digital book or an ebook, it has to be on a dedicated e-reader, not on your iPad. All right, so for current events, let's get going. Our goal with current events is to be able to find, read, and analyze credible information. Now, we learned all about the CRAP test last semester, looking for credible, reliable, accurate, and timely sources. But we're going to be looking at a particular website this semester for our current events. We're also going to be focusing on the written structure, which will be that rhetorical précis, but we're going to add an additional 5th sentence to these précis. So the first part of your précis is going to be typical 4-sentence analytical summary, and then the 5th sentence is actually going to connect your article to different elements of dystopian fiction. Each week you're going to present, and the way that we are going to set up presentations is each student is only going to present once during the quarter. So each week on Friday, we will do 3 student presentations. These will be randomly selected, and 3 students will present each Friday. So you are not presenting every single week. You are only presenting once during the quarter. And then the grading for this is going to be written précis are worth 10 points. There will be 12 of them total, so it's 120 coursework points. And your précis presentation is going to be 30 points, and that is in the assessment category, and that's a one-time 30-point assessment. So the conversation, this is a website we're going to be using to find all of our articles for current events. The thing I like about this website is most of the authors and contributors to this website are actually professionals in the field that they are covering. So, for example, if you are reading an article about music, the writer of that article will have a background in music. So you're not getting a random article from a random author. Everyone is tailored to their topic. So the structure for the presentation is going to go as such. Each week, students are going to be randomly selected to present that week's current event. Every week, you will do a current event. Only once a quarter will you present. Each student is going to present one time. And if you are chosen to present, but you are unprepared for that week, meaning you do not have your current event done, you will receive a 0 in the assessment category for that assignment, and it will stay there until you are randomly selected again to present and you are prepared. So, athletes, this is especially important for you. If you are selected to present on Friday and you do not have your current event done, it goes in as a 0. And it stays as a 0 in that assessment category, that 80% category, until you randomly get selected again and are ready to present. So there is no, I wasn't ready last week, can I present this week because now I'm ready? That does not work. That's not how it's going to go. I use the random student generator on PowerSchools. It pulls up a kid's name, that's who presents, and then that is the person who's going. If it calls on you and you are not prepared, it is a 0, and that 0 does not get replaced until you get called on again. Again, the 0 is going to remain until you are selected again. There is no, please, pretty please, can I come in at lunch, come in after school and present, now I'm ready. You need to be ready every week. So this is the rubric we are going to use for the current event presentations. It's a very simple rubric. I'm only showing you the advanced criteria because that's the only thing we're shooting for here. This is a 9 to 10 out of 10 for each category, so 30 points total. Delivery of content. You need to make sure that you are speaking clearly and confidently, that you are easy to understand, and that you are not reading off your notes. You want to be presenting your information as though you actually know what you're talking about. I don't want you to stand there and read your précis. I do not want you to stand there and read your précis. I want you to talk to us, to present to us confidently, that you understand your article, you know what it was about, and you are just telling us all about it. The content needs to show that you have full knowledge and understanding of your current event, and you need to be capable of answering any questions that are presented at the end of your presentation. So at the end of each presentation, you guys will open it up to questions. Typically, we'll allow 1 to 3 questions, but sometimes more if the article is really engaging and really interesting. But you need to be prepared to answer any of those questions. Now, that being said, you don't need to know every single answer to every single question. Sometimes students will ask questions that you maybe don't know the answer to. You need to be able to confidently say, I'm not sure about that. Let's look into it, or I'm going to look into that more later, or it wasn't fully addressed in this article. The talking points you're going to cover in your précis are going to be the tag, your summary, and your connection, and your opinion. So you're going to clearly explain those talking points. We should hear the title, author, and genre. We should know the full summary of your article. We should also know that dystopian connection. How does this connect to what we're learning about dystopia? And then I want to know your opinion on this topic. Not just, oh, it was a good article, but I want to know, what did you think about the information that was being covered? Did you find it interesting? Did you agree with it? Did you disagree with it? Did it raise up any questions for you? So that is what your presentation is going to look like. They typically run about 3 minutes long. They're not super long presentations, so you don't need to be worried about that. So a précis review. This is going to be a 4-sentence analytical summary. Those 4 sentences are going to include the tag with the year in parentheses, and then the verb from that rhetorical verb list. I believe for you guys it was a green sheet. So it's going to be verb that. You're also going to then put the organization and what's being covered. So this is where we did first the author verbed this information, then the author verbed that information, finally the author verbed blah, blah. So that's typically the setup there. Then we have the author's purpose is to blank in order to blank. Remember, it's not persuade, inform, or entertain. We are looking at the author's purpose is to raise awareness about this issue in order to whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish. And then your 4th sentence is going to be the author's intended audience. Who did they write this article for? And what tone are they using that helped you get there? And then you have a mood and tone list sheet. You have that rhetorical verb sheet. You have a précis sheet. All of this should be in your ELA notebook. The additional sentence you're going to add for our current events is going to be that dystopian connection. So this topic has dystopian qualities such as blank because blank. Now, one thing to look at is with dystopias, they typically are trying to solve some sort of problem, but they do it in a very overbearing way. So often it's really nice to look for articles that are addressing some sort of issue, and you could then bring those in as your dystopian qualities. So, for example, we're going to look at an article today, and you'll see how you can make a dystopian connection. So we are going to now head into Canvas and take a look at your sample assignment for today. So if you look under week 2, you have the practice current event right here. We're going to click on that. It says read the article linked below and write a rhetorical précis plus dystopian connection sentence at the end. This is going to be typed up in a Google Doc and submitted as a PDF. It's due at the end of class. So right here, those are those current event slides we just looked at. And then we have our practice current event article right here. So we're going to click on that article. This website, The Conversation, is the article that you are going to, or the website you're going to be using for all of your current events. Some topics that I find are really helpful for dystopia are going to be the ethics and religion, The politics and society and science and technology, those ones are usually really good ones for making dystopian connections. But today's article is going to be how social media turns online arguments between teens into real world violence. So you are going to read through this article. This was written by Caitlin Elliser. So you're going to read through this. She is a professor of social work at the University of Connecticut. It gives all of her disclosures or any partner she's working with. And then you have the publication date right here, April 5th, 2021. It was updated last on that same day, maybe about an hour later. So you can see the headline here, your publication date, your author, all of that is right here. So you've got that information and then your article. And these articles are not super lengthy. So this one's nice and short, and it gives you some information. So you're going to read through this article and then try to make dystopian connections. So how can we look at this and see a problem that is maybe being solved in a certain way or that someone might want to solve, which could lead to these dystopian issues, overbearing governments, surveillance, things like that. So you're going to read through this article. When you are done, you are going to write your précis using those 4 sentences plus our 5th dystopian connection. And that is what you are working on today. Don't worry too much about your dystopian connection if it's a little weak or if you're a little unsure. Take your best shot at it because we haven't fully gone over all the elements of dystopia yet. So you might not fully get this one. But I want you to try and to think about what you know of dystopia. Think about our letter that I read to you at the beginning of the school year when we came back from break, how you guys felt about that invasion of privacy when I told you the school was going to be, stalking your cell phones at school. Think about Hunger Games, Divergent, any of those dystopian novels that you've seen. Think about our presentation yesterday in the library, but try your best. Again, we are focusing on writing that précis and getting that 5th sentence in there. So you're going to do that in a Google Doc and you will submit it right here to Canvas. If you have any questions, I'll be at home today. You can message me on Remind or you can send me an email, whichever you need to do. Remind will typically be easier because I can